Bonjour à tous et merci pour votre soutien à Indie Agency News. On appréciait ça. Et maintenant, rencontrons une agence indépendante. Aujourd'hui, nous allons à Montréal et au groupe indépendant Cinquième. Alors, bienvenue. Alors, comment ça va?
Ça va très bien, enchanté.
Super
Enchanté,
bien.
c'est un grand
Excellente
plaisir.
introduction en français.
Ah oui, c'est un petit peu. Mais l'accent canadien, c'est un petit peu différent. La France, quand je voyageais à la France, je parle avec accent italien. À Cannes, par exemple, il y a de Ah, vous êtes italien. Oui, je suis italien, mais je suis américain, mais je parle un petit peu lentement comme ça, le sud de France. Mais l'accent de Montréal, c'est un petit peu différent. Expliquez ça.
L'accent de Montréal, je pense que c'est à cause qu'on a beaucoup de diversité ici à
Ah
Montréal.
oui.
Alors, le français, surtout le français des jeunes maintenant,
Ah oui.
c'est beaucoup mélangé avec le créole haïtien, avec l'arabe aussi, des expressions anglophones. Alors,
Ah, oui.
ça crée un mélange qui est vraiment unique à Montréal, on va dire.
Ah,
Alors,
d'accord.
c'est quand même drôle.
Ouais.
C'est différent comparé aux Québécois de Sud.
Ah, le Nord, comme la ville de Québec, ouais.
Ouais,
Oui.
ouais, comme les vrais
C'est le pays,
Québécois,
c'est le pays, oui.
c'est différent. Alors, quand les Français ils viennent ici, ils entendent les Québécois parler comme eux, like, they're like, what's that?
Ouais, ouais. And l'argot, the slang is very different from when I visited first. So as a little bit of like, I'm not trying to show off. I'm actually just trying to use my French minor from school. So my mother will say, "When do you ever use your French?" But okay, we'll switch over to English. But first of all, thank you so much. It is fun, but listen, I do okay with it, but I just sort of mumble through. And I've probably had if a teacher were sitting here right now, like my son's French teacher, he'd be like, "No, no, 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 ce n'est pas masculin, c'est féminine." And she would yell at me. But thank you for not, for not making fun of me.
No, of course. Your French is very typical here in
Yeah,
Montreal.
everyone have an
you
accent.
you would blend in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
they
that's
love,
interesting.
And they love when you speak French with an accent because psychologically for Québécois, they think that because they're very protective of the French.
Yes.
So to them, it's like, oh my God, they're trying.
Right.
So you get love when you have that accent.
Yeah. So. And when you bust it out in Paris, even they'll look at you. And I mean, I guess with these new glasses I just got, I look slightly more European. So as I was saying, I'm half Italian. So what I was explaining was when I've been to Cannes Lions several times, and every time I go there, the accent that I have, because Parisian French is we're going to get to the agency here in a second, but the Parisian French is very, very different. It's much more clipped. It's faster. And then when you start getting into the South, it's a little bit slower. Which is helpful for me. But when I speak, for some reason, the accent comes out as like Mediterranean. And so taxi drivers, people at restaurants, everywhere, they're like, "Are you from Italy?" And I guess, being half Italian, that makes sense. But then you tell them you're American and they're like, "Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna send you an Instagram account that's from here, and he kind of makes fun of all the different French accents here in Montreal.
Yeah,
you're gonna laugh of it. I will send it to you later.
Yeah. So the agency Cinquième. So for those who speak English, please explain the name and the history. Let us know a bit about when you were founded and how the agency came to be.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with the name because that's a question that we get very often. Like, what does the name mean? Both French and English speakers will ask us. So, 6/5 translated to English is 6/5, so fraction 6/5. And essentially, the name is based on the sixth sense. And the way we interpret the sixth sense is that extra spark of creativity, that intuitiveness that is associated with creativity and inspiration. yeah, that's kind of like the short, quick and short and sweet explanation of the origin of the name.
Yeah, in terms of our history, like me and Ash, we met in 2016. Both creatives. We were just kind of freelancing, just figuring things out as we go along, collaborating on different projects as we went along. We had a very good chemistry between each other, so we just decided to be like, okay, let's launch our own, studio or our own production house at the time. So when we first launched, we went under the name Divi Productions, and that was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And then in 2020, we decided to rebrand because we kind of changed our position, and we kind of knew exactly like how we really wanted to position ourselves, how we really want to put ourselves out there. So we kind of just rebranded under Cinquième in 2020. And yeah, so we're still kind of baby. We're still babies in this industry.
Petit mignon. Petit. Every agency clearly does a lot of really good and interesting things, especially for their clients and for brands. What would you say that your agency is best known for, and what would you say your 3 top core strengths are as an agency?
So I'd say we're best known for our branding. That's kind of like our bread and butter. We don't like, although branding is in the world of advertising, we don't consider ourselves an ad agency because we really focus on helping companies build brands that are authentic to the core and that they can sustain because they are authentic, because they're based on something real, rather than just focusing on the surface level, I guess, perception that most people have of branding. We really dig deep and focus on the core and internal aspects of your brand, and then think about how can that manifest externally. So I'd say that's like our expertise.
I think also our expertise is the fact that how we approach projects as well too. The fact that we make an effort to work with different creators from different backgrounds, like we try to bring different heads as much as we can in our projects as much as possible, because we believe in just have a diversity of cultural background, experiences, and this does impact the project that we work on as well too, right? And I think it's all as well a blessing that the fact that we're from Montreal as well too, how we just spoke about like the English and French. I do think just having that perspective, because Montreal is an international city, we're able to we're able to tap into that without us even knowing, like, and we're able to just bring that into projects. So when we approach projects, we really look at it from a global standpoint, as a global view, instead of just looking at it from a narrow lens. So I think subconsciously we're able to bring that in our projects as much as possible. And like, we are not like and we're not yes women or yes men on projects too. Like, I think that's also a big bonus as well. Like, we don't like telling people what they want to hear. We make a very, especially more on Ash's side, because Ash she's an artist first. So like, if something doesn't
don't mess with that. I mean,
it doesn't resonate, like,
my mistake.
So so that's I think those are like a combination of things. I feel like
that's a great combination. And then adding in Montreal is you said it is a global city. It is an international city. It is beautifully rich in diversity. It is, and one of the million things I love about both of you is that I catch you out and about all the time. You're out doing speaking engagements. You're out there really understanding talent. And that's one thing that I've noticed is that you're out there as leaders, tapping into talent, understanding that, yes, they can. Yes, you absolutely can do this. And I love your point of view and your perspective, because it's not one that is, you know, you're being, again, the A word, we throw around authentic a lot, but you are genuinely being authentic, but in such a way that is so accessible. And I have to think that people are really attracted to that. And I would think that a brand would definitely be attracted to your authenticity, but I would say that, and I'm skipping around a little bit, but talk about talent a little bit, and how you interact with talent, and why you would want talent to be working with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really
That's a big
appreciate.
compliment.
Yeah, thank you for saying all
That's
of
the truth. You're welcome, but it is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that, and I think that it's something that we don't really think about. I guess, you know, you say the word authentic is oftentimes not used in the most authentic way. It's kind of
Right.
used as a, you know, surface level thing, but yeah, we're intentional about the type of work we do, the people that we want to work with, whether it be clients or talent. And I think maintaining and you know, always following that intention is kind of key to maintaining that authenticity, I could say, even without thinking about it. I think one thing that, for me at least, I'm really big on is what is our intention? You know, what was the intention of launching our agency? Well, it was opening a door, creating more representation, and creating a space for people to get their feet wet, people from diverse backgrounds to get their feet wet. And so kind of having that in mind, through our I guess talent sourcing process is big for us.
And also, like, you know, kind of like you mentioned it, you know, I think to add on what you're saying as well, like, we make a huge effort to put ourselves out there as much as possible. You know, like, I see like agency owners and stuff like that as modern day rock stars. I like to see myself and Ash as modern day rock stars out here. So that's how we kind of move and put ourselves out there, because more we speak about the work we do, our philosophy, people are going to kind of understand like the way we think. And I think it's attractive to people, like people who want to work with us, for us, or work with us, or whatever the case may be. So I think like just us being true to ourselves, but also making an effort to talk loudly about it as well, and really putting it out there as being like a giant magnaphone, and just letting people know like, hey, this is how we think and this is how we operate. And yeah,
I love that. Don't think I didn't notice that Tribe Called Quest poster behind me.
Our sister painted that.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's people think it's a poster, but it's actually a painting, and she recreated the album artwork. Yeah.
I did a Q-Tip parody, and that was like the thing that launched me into. I worked at a hip hop radio station for 5 years.
Oh,
and and I did a Q-Tip parody when Vibrant Thing came out, and that was the thing that launched me.
Wow.
If you're familiar with Ebro from Apple Music,
for sure.
I played it for him, and he's like, "You're funny. Do you want to produce my morning show?" And I was like, "Yep."
Oh, that's so sick. That's so sick.
And an award tour is definitely a ringtone on my phone. My favorite song. My favorite. Love it. All right, so let's go back to being independent. Why is it so important for you to be independent? I think it's very obvious, the answer here, but I'd love to understand why being independent is so important to you.
You know, like, it's funny that you're mentioning about the whole independent thing. We never really classified or viewed ourselves as being independent until we started really working with you know, clients outside of Canada. And we work with US clients, and you know, we would have conversation with different people out there, you know, who are, we could say, some sort of mentors, and they're like, yo, it's so cool you guys are independent. And they kept on mentioning that. They're like, what do you mean? Like, what does that even mean? And then I start really diving and understanding like the optics of how like being independent, because there's so many of these big, large agencies that are, you know, associated with these bigger holding companies and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like things like that I didn't know. So I guess to answer your question, like what it means to be independent for us, or like you know, like why is it important? I think it gives us the flexibility to really play by our own rules and to kind of say no to things that we don't really vibe with. Like we don't have the pressure of like, working with entities or companies because we have to work with these companies or working with these things. Like we have flexibility. We could say no, we could play by our own rules, and like there's no one really guiding that, so we have a lot of control of how we approach projects, the type of projects we work with, the type of things we do. Like we have the freedom to do that. We're not like binded by anyone or anything of that nature, and I think that helps our creativity really
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. I would also add to that and say that on my end, I really want to figure out a new model, a new agency model. And I think that being independent allows us to explore what that might look like, because we don't necessarily have the pressures of I don't know, we don't have like a huge board putting pressure on us to XYZ. Because we're, like you said earlier, still babies, and still establishing like what we want that model to look like for us, and how we want it to serve us and the creatives we work with better, first and foremost, rather than just focusing on, okay, we want to make sure that we're hitting X financial target by the end of this quarter because XYZ pressure. I think that that's another aspect of like flexibility.
Yeah, and also like a cherry on top too, like us, intimacy is very important. And I think like the fact that we work the way we do, we're a small knit team and we have this fluidity and this flexibility, like the clients get to know us a little bit more, and we could actually build like a relationship that's that's beyond transactional, like I think that's something that we kind of take that for granted sometimes, that like a lot of our clients that we work with and the people that we work with, like it doesn't feel transactional as much. It feels very like, these are people who actually want us to succeed, and like they're taking the time to really get to know us. And I think that's something that's super like, valuable, that I don't feel like a lot of people in our industry get to really experience as much. And we're able to, to do that. And I think it's the fact that we're independent. I think that plays a factor in that as well.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I love this question. There's the two questions that I love the most are these two. And I'll bundle them together, just like an insurance company would in the United States. They do that in Canada, the bundle. Et voilà le bundle. Et voilà. What is the French word for it? Would be bundle.
I think it's forfait.
I
think
progressive would say forfait. Okay, got it. So number one, what's the main reason a brand should work with you? And then secondly, whether they're a client or not, which CMO or marketer would you like to say hello to? Dis bonjour.
Why they should work with us? I think, something that I say as well to a lot is that, me and Ash, I don't really just see us as like agency owners and just like these creatives out here just doing creative work. Like I think the things that we do is way beyond the traditional, like it's way beyond what you see, right? Like me and Ash were very involved in our community as well. Like we do like workshops, we try to, do talks, we try to go to schools, we try to do like things that's beyond just the traditional agency work, collaborate with different, up and coming underrepresented businesses, regardless of whatever it is. So when people are working with us, they're not just supporting our business, they're supporting us to continue helping our community and helping us, you know, bring other people from our community to work on these projects, because a lot of our projects that we work on, like we, you know, we take chances on individuals from non-traditional background who might not, you know, they're kind of self-taught. They just want a little experience. They just want to help out. They still want to, they're curious about this industry, and we're giving them the chance and opportunity to do that. So, you know, when people work with us, they're supporting that aspect as well too. Because I could sit here and talk about, like, you know, working with us is because, you know, we're a small team. You know, we're very agile. You know, we have diverse perspective. I could name all those stuff, but I think the number one thing is, like, you're helping us help our community by working with us. Like, that's period. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
I think that you made a really good point about that, and I think another, I guess I could add that working with us is contributing to, yes, the community aspect of what we're doing, but also ushering in and supporting, like, the next wave and next generation of creatives in the ad industry and what that looks like, because we're really big on, both for our own business and the businesses that we work with, kind of rethinking how business is done, how creative business is done, where we're actually, like, going back to the basics of, like, focusing on the creativity and the quality over everything else. And if that means that I have to not be a yes person, or I have to tell you what you don't want to hear, as long as it's for the sake of supporting, like, that quality over everything, I think that's a big thing for us. And yeah, like, just with, when it comes to the clients themselves, revolutionizing how business is done internally, where we're helping you think about your brand differently. It's not just makeup that you put on to look good. It impacts your culture. It impacts the people's lives who are working for your company. How can you leverage it to help ignite that passion and fire in your own employees, or in your own, you know, the individuals that help push your company out there, you know, outside of us, but, like, your employees. Like, that's something that we're really big on. And it's like, to me, I see us, yes, branding as a tool to really do that and revolutionize, like, how business is done and how people think about their brands, as more than just something that's consumer facing, but the soul of your company, the culture of your company, the thing that makes people want to wake up every morning and go to work and work on the mission of your company every day. Like, that's how.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so the second part was, which CMO or marketer did you want to say hi to?
Well, I have two in mind.
Do it.
Well, I'm gonna say first and foremost Jabari.
Oh, Jabari. God.
Yeah, Jabari. He's very cool, very nice. He took a big chance on us, honestly, when he was at Westbrook by bringing us on that project. It was one of our biggest projects at the time, and for him to even just believe in us and just believing in us, like, more than we were actually believing in ourselves at that time, it was kind of crazy. And he was just such a supportive person and just very, like, loving person, and everything what he's doing with the mentorship program and everything that he's doing is super sick. So that's one person I would love to say hi to and bonjour to. Another person is Mary Lee.
Yeah.
Mary Lee, she was the CMO at Greenwood, if I'm not mistaken. And she would also work at Twitter a bit. During the pandemic, we kind of got to connect with her. You know, like, we had a lot of cool conversations and got to really, you know, exchange a lot during the pandemic and stuff like that. We haven't spoken in a while, but those are the two people that I could think of in the last year or so who had a very deep impact on Ash and I's growth throughout the year. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, Ash, anybody else?
I mean, I have this, like, those are the same answers. Like, those are like really good answers. So
Yeah.
definitely those are two people who like
Mess with perfection. Don't mess with perfection.
exactly impacted us on a personal level. So I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah.
All right. I love it. I love it. Well, honestly, again, to everybody out there, please, please, please get to know Ash and Miro. Please, please, please. I think the work you're doing, again, it's, we talk about working with brands, we talk about working with clients, but the things that you are doing to uplift this industry, I know that you're doing it in Montreal, but the things that you are doing there cross borders, and I really encourage everybody to get to know this agency, get to know the talent, get to know these two leaders, because you will learn something and you will take something that you can use that's going to lift this industry up and maybe lift your agency up or lift your brand clients and your brand partners up. Seriously, can't say enough great things about you. And you came to me via my good friend David Griner, who's known as Ad Dad. That's why I'm Uncle Advertising. I'm his older brother. Maybe gives you some sketchy advice from time to time, maybe shows up with the good weed. It's just, things like that. But I'm so glad that he put both of you on my radar, and I encourage everybody to get Ash and Miro on your radar, because you will not regret the things that you will learn. So thank you so much for joining us. Best wishes for continued success. And I will see you in Montreal in 2024.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.